Okay, good morning. Good morning for all of you that are here today. I'm so excited. The Thursday before Christmas, and we have quite the showing still. So, thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited. Just speaks to the Everest team and our agents. If you would share gratitude, and I would love to hear from you guys. So, one of the things as I was talking to George yesterday, I was like, what can I share with the team? And as I got thinking about it, I just recently, myself personally, went through 6 days with Tony Robbins. And it was funny because everybody's like, was it different? Because it was virtual and all this stuff. And it was, if anything, I feel like it was more powerful because he was right in my face the whole time. So he felt like he was speaking to you. But why I'm bringing this up is, I came back and I was speaking to Kenzie, and I said to her, I said, one of the things I realized over the event was how critical it was that we take what we know from everything and be able to apply it to the business. And so this event specifically that I attended was all about relationships. And because we're going into the holiday season and because we'll be spending time with our loved ones, I thought I would bring you guys something a little bit different, but I also think it will actually apply, and maybe you could see a way of a different angle inside the business as well. Because for me, the one thing that I took away is I kind of said to Kenzie, not by any means conceitedly, but I said, I think I realized why I'm good at what I do. And it's because I take bits and pieces of every truth that I find true. And I've been able to implement it into the business. And so one of the things that I really wanted to talk to today was just some takeaways that I took from the event. So bear with me because there are going to be times where I am actually reading from my journal here. So just because I want to make sure that you guys get it right. But first and foremost, so you've probably heard us talk about the laws of leadership. And one of the things that I loved that Tony spoke to is a little bit different. So I want you guys to write this quote down, because I think it applies not just in our business, but in our personal life as well. And he said, if you want to change somebody's way with you, you must change the way you react to somebody. Okay, so another way we've said that over the years, right, is if you want to change the way somebody is with you, you also could ask better questions. You want a better answer, ask a better question. Okay, so being that better leader, but more importantly, there's three things that he really talks to, and specific to the leadership skills. And I want to give you these things because then I'm going to go into a topic that I found was just kind of aha and really big awakening for me, and has been over the years from my first event. So the first thing he talks about is, he said, a true leader, number one, sees things as they are, not worse than they are. A true leader sees things as they are, not worse than they are. Number two is a true leader sees it better than it is. I mean, this year is a year we have had to definitely look at it, right, in a different perspective. And we have the power of choice. We can choose to see it for what it is and not worse than it is, or we can see it for better than it is and take on the opportunities of what it's been able to create. And then the third thing is make it the way you see it. A true leader makes it the way they want to see it. Right? I can tell you guys right now, even my own family at times has said, Lindsey, do you live under a rock? And I'm like, no, I just choose to see it the way I want to see it. And so, I'm not going to listen to everybody else. So one of the things that I would ask you is, in your relationships at home, in business, the relationships that you're creating, are you being that leader? Are you making it the way you want to see it? Are you seeing it for what it is, not worse than it is? Right? Are you, and this can speak to anything. We can speak to COVID. I don't even talk about it anymore, but it could be just the simple things of life. When you're leading a client, are you seeing the situation better than it is? Are you making it what you want to see it? Or are you just taking no for an answer in your negotiations? Okay, so just some things to really think about. These topics really can dive in. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out to you guys is he talked to just two things about communication. So here at Everest, we always say the one thing that we need is our ability to communicate with people, right? And that's why we're so gung-ho on our scripts and our dialogues and our role play that Rick does, and all the different things that we offer here at Everest, is because it's our ability to communicate with people. And one of the things that I really love that he said communication is two things. Number one is a cry out for help. A cry out for help. And then number two, a loving response. And I know I'm guilty of it, but we all do well with the loving response. How many times, and it may happen as you're sitting at home this weekend, right, with family there and people out of town where you may have different views of what's going on. I just coached one of my managers through this, is can you still give a loving response? Can you recognize that maybe their conversation with you is actually a cry out for help? What are they really saying behind it? Kind of like what Russ said yesterday. Are you actually listening to them? Right? And so really going through this is, I want to bring a different topic to you. And I think there's so much power in it. And I by any means know that I'm not going to be able to give the power to you, that it took Tony 6.5 hours to go through with us. But I really want you to see some things that might be helpful, specifically to your relationships. This is what he was talking to. But I just want to go through 3 things women need and 3 things men need to be able to stay in their masculine and feminine energies. Okay. It's a little bit different, but I also want you to see, is there ways that you can actually apply this to your business? Because I do believe that there are things that you can do. If there's that client who, is feeling unheard, isn't feeling listened to, isn't feeling understood, that there's certain things that you can actually do to make them feel better. Sam is, stepping in the room, you guys, and trying to take me off track here. So we'll go through this real quickly. I'm going to write it on the board. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I want to just go through this. So there's 3 things specifically that the feminine energy needs, right? And so the first thing is your ability, they need to feel seen. Feel seen. Okay. And if I'm speaking to just intimate relationships, men, they need to be seen all the time. You need to make them feel seen. Okay. Those are the things that they're going to talk to. The second thing is they need to feel understood. Okay. They need to feel understood. They need to feel like they're actually being listened to. So if we just use this as a client side of things, one of the things that I would ask you is, if you have that woman that you're speaking to and she doesn't feel understood, do you think you're going to create that safety that we talk about at Everest? Are you going to create that rapport that you can connect with her? Right? So there's certain things that you can do. And then the third thing is they need to feel safe. The one thing that was really cool about the Tony Robbins event that I attended is he said, he said, men, watch this. And he said, women, raise your hand. How many of you have felt unsafe in the last 24 hours? And almost everyone in the room raised their hand, right? And so when I look at this, specifically for a female, and if we're dealing with clients, is what can I do to make my client feel seen? What can I do to make her feel understood, right? There's certain things that we can do to feel seen. Is there things that are important, as Russ talked about yesterday, and this is perfect because they're going together, but are you actually listening enough that she feels seen, that you understand the second thing, right? That what she really wants. Are you asking enough questions? Okay, if we're talking about this in the intimate relationship, you guys, one of the things that it is men, the reason why women, we'll go through that in a second, because I actually think that that's, you need to go through the men's side of it first. Okay. So there's 3 things that men need to fill in relationships. And the first thing is, more or less, they need to feel like they're the hero. How many times are we in a situation with a client where the man might have well, maybe this is just me, but might have a little bit of an ego, right? I have to make sure that I strike that ego. I got to make sure he feels like he's the champ in the room, right? And be able to remove myself as that leader, that I don't need to be better than him. Okay. So, and this goes for men and women, you guys, especially men. I would tell you, especially men when dealing with clients. Then the second thing is they need to have a sense of feeling of openness. Another thing for that is, right, you can't be closed off with these people. The things that make them feel safe with men is they need to have that sense of openness, that they can come directly to you, that they can speak their mind, that they don't have to, close off and be able to do these things. Okay. And then the third thing, right, is you've got to give them that freedom. So how can we do that with clients? I would say freedom and love. They got to feel love. Even men need a little love sometimes, ladies, okay? But one of the things that I would just say with that is they've got to have freedom. So with your clients, with the men, they need those options. They're going to need things where you actually can help them better improve these things. And so one of the things that I would really just look at is, as you're looking at these three things for each one, you have the women, right? And you have the men. And these are things that they need in their relationships. Okay. And one thing that they'll talk to, and I'll just kind of give a little bit of this, but one thing that they'll talk to is women. If you're criticizing your man, okay, and he doesn't feel like he is the hero, he will go into his feminine energy. Because he wants your love so much, he will stop being the masculine energy that you fell in love with. Okay. Not only that, if you close off to him, which we do, okay, women, I can say I'm guilty for it. We do it when we don't feel safe. If you close off to him and you start horse trading, is what Tony calls it, in love, well, then guess what? He's going to go into his feminine energy, or he's just going to retract and he's not going to act. And then the last part is the last thing they want to be, right, is they want to feel controlled. Give them their freedom. I had a dear friend of mine early on in the business said, give a man a pasture, he'll roam. Give him fences, he'll break through them. Right? So, and then the opposite goes for men. If your woman doesn't feel seen, if you're not paying the bills on time and things like that, she's going to step into her masculinity and she's going to start creating safety for herself. Right? She's going to go into that security masculine energy that she creates. If she's not feeling understood, and here's the thing, men, she does not want you to fix the problem. She just wants you to listen. Okay. But if she doesn't feel understood and she doesn't feel like your presence is there, well, guess what? Again, she'll go into her masculine. And then that third thing is if she doesn't feel safe or she doesn't feel like she can trust you, well, again, she's going to go into her masculine. So I want to share with you guys a fun story about this, specifically for business, and why I'm sharing you with these things. Because 6 years ago, I actually got to attend this event. And I apologize. I'm going to take off my jacket because my body's still hot from the gym. I'm one of those people that do exercise daily. So, but 6 years ago, I got to actually attend this event. And one of the things that I realized is in business, I led, well, not just business, every aspect of my life. I led with a lot of masculine energy because of situations, things that had happened, society around me, my intimate relationships, personal relationships even that I wasn't even aware that were limiting me, through meditations and things like that, I've been able to work through. And one of the things that I realized is at this event is he did an exercise. And I led with a lot of masculine energy. And a lot of the reasons why I worked from a place of masculine energy is because I was trying to create certainty, right? I was trying to create that security for myself or whatever it may be. And so in business, it led me for a long period of time. One of the things that I would ask you is, where are you acting from with your clients? Are you acting from your masculine? Are you acting from your feminine? Are you, and the best question to ask, or what Tony will ask you, is whose love did you crave the most when you were growing up? Was it your mom or your father? because in most cases, even if you think you're masculine, you're going to mask it with a feminine energy because you craved your mom's energy, or vice versa, right? If you're a female and you craved, which I did, craved my father's love, I put on this masculine mask to think that it was actually what was going to lead me and get that love that I wanted from him. So over the years, I realized as masculine energy didn't necessarily serve me, right? I love that even Greg Haddock teased me this morning. Lindsey's nice until you cross her. And that is true, Greg. It is true, right? But also, one of the things that I would say is over the last, I would say 2 years, I've really been working on bringing this feminine energy and making sure that I'm leading from a place of my feminine energy. Right. And what Tony will often refer to is this depolarization that's happened in relationships is because of these things. At the same time, one of the things that I would tell you is over the years of understanding this, I have learned that me being in my feminine, and there is my masculine feminine as well, me being in my feminine is actually a lot more powerful in all aspects of my life, business, relationships, my business relationships, everything that I do, than if I'm in my masculine energy, right? And I have to ask myself, okay, why am I stepping into my masculine? Where am I not feeling safe? Where am I not feeling seen? What am I not feeling understood? How can I change this? Right? Or let's just say we're at our dinner tables this weekend or over Christmas and you're listening to somebody. And you can use these ideas and you can go, okay, what about this isn't making this person feel like he's the hero, right? Or maybe that, did I close off to him that he doesn't feel like he can openly talk to me about things? That we can't have an open conversation, understand we have differences. Differences is what creates passion, you guys. But yet we always want people to be us and get along with us. That's not where the passion's going to be in any aspect of our life. Okay. And so what I've realized is over the time is being able to stay in that feminine is actually where I get my biggest successes in all aspects. And the same thing goes for men. Now, what I would tell you, there was one point in this journey that I got so far away from it, right? Because I wanted nothing to do with it. I can tell you there was a time, and Russ and Rick can testify to this, but I was on a manager's call and I could not control my emotions and I was supposed to be teaching people, right? And I realized at that point that there is also this divine mix of the two. Okay. It's one thing to be, and again, I'm just relating it to this, but it's one thing men to be masculine. But if you're masculine all the time, like I just said, and that client of yours is also masculine, and you're not allowing him to be the hero, and you are so ego as an agent that you can't get out of your own way, right? Because you think you should be the hero. Well, guess what that's going to do? You're going to create that depolarization in your business. Right? So there is a balance that you actually have to bring these in and out of each other. Can you step back, just maybe even stay in your masculine, but step back and be able to give him his masculine energy? Make him feel like he's the hero. Make him feel like you're open enough that you can talk to him. Okay. I've noticed this in my own aspects of the feminine side of things, right? If I'm with another female, it's the same thing. Can I make her feel safe enough? Can I step back and be that leader and make her understood? And not have to be right, because it goes both ways. And so talking to this is you have your feminine and your masculine energies, but you both have both. And there has to be a mix between the two. And we really can bring this in. So the reason why I really wanted to go through this with you guys, and I know it's, like I said, this is like 6 hours that I'm giving to you in 20 minutes, right? But it's such a powerful tool that if you really look at it, and even if you just start practicing on your friends and your family over Christmas holidays, how can you see and recognize, okay, does this person feel seen? Do they feel understood? Do they feel safe with me? Or maybe it's on the other side of things. Does he feel like he's a hero when he's around me? And this doesn't just have to be your intimate relationships, right? It could be your kids. Okay. And does he feel open? Does he have the ability to actually feel like he has his freedom when he's around? That I'm being that true leader that Tony said, seeing it for what it is, not worse than it is, and really being able to be open to everybody's opinions and views. Those differences, like I said, is what creates the passion in life, right? And so making sure that we're open to each other's differences. Also remember, if I am speaking to the intimate relationship, the differences is where you fell in love with each other. Because it's often said, you will go after something that you have within yourself that you have shut off. You will go after that person to bring that out in you again. So just remember, you guys, there's such critical tools, but I really was hoping that you could see this because it was kind of a big aha. Maybe I'm not explaining it exactly the way I can, but hopefully you can look past that and see the opportunity here that maybe I can use these tools in my business too. Where can I make these men that I'm working with feel safe, or right? Like that they're the hero in the business, or maybe it's just that their opinion matters, right? That I don't have to be always right as the real estate agent, you know, and making them feel open and be able to do those things. And then on the same side of things, if I have that client who's feminine, right, and she's not feeling safe or seen or understood by me as a real estate agent, well, guess what? I'm not going to really be able to move. I'm not going to be able to lead her as I want to. And so if I want, like Tony said, to be able to influence people. In fact, the statement that I love that he also said, he says, true leaders influence, they don't control. I'm going to repeat that. True leaders influence, they do not control. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to come at this from a different view, because one of the things, like I said, is I really realized how many different ways can we look at these things. And if we have all these different tools in our arsenal, can we be better at our jobs? Can we be better in those relationships that we're trying to create? Business, life, you know, our intimate relationship, kids, you guys. How cool would this be if you could actually use this on your children and understand that they need those things? Okay, so hopefully you can see the power in this message as much as I did. It totally changed my perspective on things, helped me understand. And like I said, over the last 6 years is really being in my divine feminine and also understanding my divine masculine and knowing when there's a time and a place for it, right? And being able to drop that masculine and be feminine. And when I need to do those things, same thing goes for you men. Are you being masculine, but can you drop it and be in your feminine energy when that person needs to be seen, right? When they need to be understood. They don't need you to fix the problem. They just need to be understood. Okay, you guys, thank you guys so much. I know completely different message, but hopefully you can see the value in it. Max is giving me thumbs up, so I appreciate it, Max. And there you go. I said, okay, I got a few of them. Thank you guys. But just know, you know, one of the things that I would just say is, and repeat what George and John often tell us, truth is truth. And so when you're in events like this, when you're going to things and you're, or maybe it's not just in your morning meeting, can you use it from a different point of view? One of the things that I always will say, and I'm obviously speaking to the motley crew here that believes in it, but every single day you can show up and you can learn something new. I learned something new from Russ yesterday, right? Am I just surface asking questions, or am I digging deep enough, right? And making sure that I have that value there to offer people. Am I getting creative enough is actually what I took away when working with clients, you know? So I hope this is valuable to you all, and please use it this weekend. Pay attention to it when you're in conversations with people. Are you making the people feel safe? Are you making them feel like they're a hero to you, right? Give them that opportunity. Really step into that leadership role, because this year has been a crazy year. I am ready to say goodbye to 2020 and bring on 2021, right? I think we all are. So, but use these tools, try and implement them in your business and see what difference you could create in your relationships and business if you made these people feel this way. Okay. All right, team. Have a Merry Christmas. I probably won't see you guys before then. Have a Merry Christmas. I love you all. Thank you guys for being a part of Century 21 Everest. I'm grateful for everything you guys do. So let's go ahead and close out with our affirmation.